those online, but also with us here. The topic for today is going to be silent sacrifice. And actually, today's topic is very connected to the occasion of the World Environment Day, which is actually tomorrow. But to actually give that highlight and emphasis, we have a beautiful speaker this evening. Her name is Maria Faundez, and she's been a teacher and a practitioner of Raj Yoga meditation since 1980. So again, a wealth of experience coming down with you here. And together with that, she's also, for the Brahma Kumaris, the coordinator of the Environmental Initiative in London. And is active with faith-based organizations too, and contributes a lot to many events. And of course, the information goes worldwide. As you can imagine, you have wonderful energy coming down this evening for you all. So with further ado, I'd like to invite Maria on stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. And thank you so much for that introduction, Canon. And yes, as Canon said, today we celebrate World Environment Day, or we honor World Environment Day, which is tomorrow, every year on the 5th of June. And so we are a little bit in advance celebrating. And this year the theme is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. So the slogan is our land, our future. And this is something really beautiful because it makes us think about how connected we are to the land and how dependent we are from the land, because the land sustains us, sustains all life. So yes, definitely the land, the state of the land is related to our future. So to get you thinking about the subject, we're going to show a video. And this video was shown initially at Global Cooperation House at an event in January. We had invited a guest speaker, Mr. Audemars Duclos, and he is the vice president of the Green Heart Foundation. He introduced the Great Green Wall of Africa, and this is an amazing project which is to do with reforestation of the land in the Sahel, a part of Africa that is building a wall of trees. And this has been of great benefit for the population, for the local population, and also for the world. Because as we know, whatever we do in one part of the world affects everywhere else. So. While the video is getting ready, then we can think a little bit more about the Great Green Wall. Such an amazing project. And one of the things that Audemars Duclos said at that time of the talk was that our heart needs to be green. So that means that we, having a green heart means that we care and respect and have compassion for the earth. for the land that sustains us.
À ce camp de rassemblement, nous avons 250 participants, parmi lesquels 157 jeunes. Il y a les jeunes du pays qui accueillent le Sénégal. Il y a une bonne partie qui vient de Côte d'Ivoire. En Côte d'Ivoire, vous avez 2 groupes dans la seule ville d'Abidjan. D'autres viennent d'une autre ville qui s'appelle Boaké, la deuxième ville. Vous avez d'autres jeunes qui viennent du Bénin, 2 jeunes qui viennent du Congo démocratique, 2 personnes du Rwanda, et puis 2 jeunes qui vivent en Afrique du Sud.
Bonjour.
Alors nous sommes déjà à la 4e journée de ce camp de reboisement. Les difficultés sont de tout genre. D'abord, il y a des difficultés de logistique. Aujourd'hui, nous avions demandé un certain nombre d'équipements, comme par exemple des véhicules pour le transport plus facile des plants. En 2 journées déjà, on a commencé à sentir qu'il y avait moins de véhicules, soit pour des raisons de panne ou de disponibilité du personnel forestier.
On a 2 minutes, si chaque plan, on les met en terre, on avance. Normalement, c'est vrai, les voitures nous ravitaillent, mais ça prenait du temps aussi. Alors, si chacun transporte les plants, ça fait vite. Comme ça, on n'attend pas les transporteurs. Et si jamais la voiture vient, il n'y a pas de stop, il n'y a pas d'arrêt pendant le travail. Posez, parler, danser, chanter, mais planter.
Alors le matin et le soir c'est frais, donc c'est plus facile, mais après c'est vrai que maintenant ça commence à faire chaud entre midi, 2h, 15h, voilà. Donc c'est quand même chaud et c'est dur, mais ça va, on avance, on est beaucoup. Bon, c'est la 4e fois que je viens ici, et en Suisse il y a beaucoup de forêts, beaucoup de choses qui sont faites pour la protection de l'environnement, mais venir ici aussi c'est recommencer un nouveau départ et m'encourager moi à travailler pour les jeunes et pour l'environnement.
On a la chance que le temps est clément, il n'y a pas trop de soleil. En tout cas, à l'avant-midi, ça va. Et à l'après-midi aussi, je pense que après la pause du déjeuner, on reprend quand le soleil... Non, le temps est très clément pour nous, c'est bien. On n'est pas fatigué, c'est pas difficile.
On a commencé peut-être à 8 heures, je pense. Et on a fini aussi à 8 heures du soir. Et on était toute la journée en train de travailler beaucoup. J'ai fait, je pense, hier, toutes les choses. Les trous, la plantation, le transport de plants et aussi après de l'eau.
Je pense que les plantes, une partie des plantes va bien pousser parce qu'il va pleuvoir bientôt. Je pense que pour l'Afrique, pour toute l'Afrique, ça peut être un projet qui peut rassembler les Africains et résoudre beaucoup de problèmes autres qu'environnementaux.
Cette année, nous sommes très contents de recevoir l'équipe des directeurs de la Pologne, les forestiers, parce qu'ils nous permettent d'insister sur la qualité du travail. C'est-à-dire comment faire en sorte que nous puissions donner une grande chance de suivi à chaque plante. Nous voulons continuer à faire ce travail jusqu'à ce que les personnes qui sont autour de nous, qui nous regardent, qui travaillent avec nous, soient convaincues de ce que nous faisons et qu'elles s'engagent à 100% à faire en sorte que ce projet vive pour l'éternité.
Thank you. So, I find it really inspiring. And there are lots of, there is no sound, you know? There are many people who are working towards restoring the land. So this is just an example of one of many projects. But we as individuals can also make contributions to supporting the land. And however small it may be, our action, when we join them all, add them all together, then they become significant. So I'm thinking that this evening we can all be inspired to contribute with something. And by the end of this evening, you will all feel that you want to do something towards restoring the land, helping, supporting the environment. And I will be taking you through some examples of things that we can all do that are easy to do. So the Brahma Kumaris have been actively involved in the work of the environment, and our slogan is, when I change, the world changes. And some people may think that this is questionable, because how can that be, that if I change, the world changes? But when you think about everything that's being created has come from a thought in the mind. Everything has come from the mind, from a vision, from an idea, from a thought. So we can also create a better world if we have the right thoughts, the right consciousness. So our work for the environment is very related to our consciousness, changing our consciousness. Our work for change really has taken us to working with different communities and also religious communities. And an interesting aspect of this work is that the climate change has brought many faith leaders to share the same platform, something that wouldn't have happened in the past, in just a few years back. And yet this subject is bringing people of different faith traditions to work together and share a platform. I've seen many myself. The Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative aims to spread an awareness of the environment within our own community. So it starts with me, change starts with me. And also to contribute, to cooperate and learn from others. So very much the learning aspect of our work is there. And one of the activities that we do is to organize events like this evening's event, and also many others like workshops, conferences, talks, dialogues, etc. And we work locally and internationally, also participating in the COPs, the Conference of the Parties, which happened every year in a different country. And representatives of nations from all over the world come and discuss the subject of the environment and how to find solutions and make agreements. So we take part in that also as NGOs or non-governmental organizations. One of the things that has happened with subject of the environment is that in a way it's been positive, although the crisis is quite serious and very real, but is that it has made us think about how we are one family. We either pull out together or we sink together. And Sister Genti has given an example, which is very interesting, of a boat where the water starts to come into the boat and people on that side of the boat begin to get wet. And people on the other side of the boat don't know about this, about the water. It hasn't reached them yet. But sooner or later, the water begins to come up and it reaches the other side. So it affects them as well. So this has been happening in the world, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. So eventually, either we all find solutions together and do something, or we all go down together, like the boat. So one of the things, as I said, that we practice is to have this consciousness of a wider world, of a wider family, and with this expansive consciousness makes us realize that the world is one. You think about it, the world is one. We all breathe the same air, we all drink the same water, and we all share the same land. So this is how important it is. And one of the most important environmental issues of our time is that what is called climate injustice. And there are lots of people who campaign for climate justice. And climate injustice means that the countries of the north are the most developed countries, and they're the ones that, because of industrialization and development, have caused the most damage to the world, to the environment, the most pollution. And the countries of the south are the ones that are the most affected. So that is called injustice in terms of the environment. So there's been, in the last two COPs, this subject has been taken up, and they've been trying to find solutions, but what they need really is some financial help because of the extreme circumstances that they're going through. And there hasn't been the last COP, there was an agreement, but it hasn't been a binding agreement, in which case people can easily forget that they've agreed to help. And the situation of the South, the countries of the South, is so bad that, as we know, there's been lots of tornadoes, droughts, floods, volcanoes, fires, or everything. You know, nature's really been reacting. And a lot of the islands of the Pacific are beginning to be submerged, some of them completely submerged under the water because the ocean waters are rising. And I've seen one of the islands in a documentary where you only see the tree standing out. Everything else has gone underwater. That means that all the people, all the inhabitants have lost their land, their livelihood, and they need help. And also, some people have lost their lives. And many of them the inhabitants have been relocated to another place where they can live. But in the relocation, there's been also separation of families. So families who've been displaced and relocated and have lost contact with their relatives. So that is the situation. So that's one of the most important subjects. And at one of these conferences, Sister Genti said that injustice exists globally, not only in relation to climate, but also in relation to inequalities of gender, race, religion, etc. And she said she believes that only spirituality will solve these injustices. She said, we have removed spirit from our activities and we need to integrate it into our hearts and conversations. So this means that we've forgotten that we are spirits, and we identified ourselves with what we have rather than with who we are. So in a way, Sister Gente was saying, this is the big issue regarding the crisis that we are going through. And when we regain the consciousness that we are spirits, then we see everyone as our brothers and the children of one father, and there are no differences. So we are all one family. So we begin to see ourselves again as one family. To achieve a change in consciousness, we've created 5 basic principles, and they're very simple, very easy to follow, and I find them really beautiful as well. So we're going to briefly talk about these 5 principles, and before we do that, we will show you another video, and this video is about the activity, or some of the activities rather, than Brahma Kumaris do around the world. So if we see the next video.
The founder of the Brahma Kumaris, known as Brahma Baba, was born in India in 1876. In his retirement age, he founded a spiritual community, which in 1950 moved to Mount Abu, Rajasthan. This was a very rural area in the Aravalli Mountains, where the community lived very simply and grew their own food as much as possible. It was a way of life in tune with the spiritual values they had, and form the basis of the 5 core principles of the Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative. Living with simplicity, buying compassionately, using economically, learning continuously, sharing generously. We find these values woven into all the environmental projects that we have developed over the past 20 years. One of these projects is Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall. The Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall initiative contributes a values-based and spiritual perspective to support the Great Green Wall. Another project that originated in India is Kalptaru. This is a tree planting project to ensure land restoration and restoration of spiritual values. Participants can register their plants or trees on the mobile app and receive tips to care for their sapling, as well as related activities to enhance spiritual values. Sustainable Yogic Agriculture, or SYA, exposes seeds to positive thought and meditation for a few days before they're put into the ground. The same is done throughout the process of planting and growth. It is an organic method of farming which restores and cares for the soil using ancestral practices. Major research was conducted for 4 years by an agricultural university in Gujarat. In field experiments, this form of agriculture was found to enhance seed germination and generate a higher quality of crops and greater yield than conventional farming methods. An interesting achievement has been the empowerment of farmers who are trained each year on SYA methods, who then train and mentor other farmers. These trainings are supported by the local centres. This method has also been used in our retreat centres all around the world, along with other means of caring for the land. The Blue Mountains Retreat Centre in Australia is one of these.
Our land adjoins Blue Mountains National Park, which is a World Heritage Area. So we very much see ourselves as caretakers of the environment here. We have a land care group and they weed along the creek and make sure that the weeds don't go into the national park. And we've also been planting native plants to hold the banks together.
At our retreat centre in Oxford, UK, which has many acres of land, we care for the earth by looking after ancient trees, keeping the flower gardens healthy, planting fruit trees and seasonal produce. All of these projects have taught us over the years that when we care for the earth, we also...
Thank you. So this is another example of the work of restoring the land and contributing towards the environment. It's just a glimpse of all the many projects that Brahma Kumaris have around the world. And in the video we saw that it mentioned the 5 principles of the Brahma Kumaris. And as I said earlier, they're very beautiful. I love it, particularly the first one, which is living with simplicity. So we'll go through the principles briefly and then we'll take questions as usual. So simplicity is an important value in sustainable living. And also we find that the regular practice of meditation and study helps us a lot with living a simple life, because it helps us with the awareness and the understanding that we're souls, and that when we understand ourselves that we're souls, then we don't need to take so much, because we have everything inside us. And then that is the experience that we have. Another thing that it gives us is a lot of mental clarity to be able to make decisions, the right decisions for our life. And because there are no desires for so many things or extra things, because desires really disturb the mind. So then we're able to make the right decisions. And living with simplicity also covers many different areas of our life, like the thoughts we have, the words we speak, the things, the clothes we wear, all of that, the food we eat, all of that is included in living with simplicity. So it makes life a lot easier. And the next value is buying compassionately. And you may think, what does it mean to buy with compassion? But what we buy has an impact on the earth. And to protect the land and also to protect our pockets, let's ask the question before we buy, do I need it? Is it necessary? And I always remember a little boy I saw in a shop, and he was saying to his dad, I want this, I want this. And his dad turned around and he said to him, but you've got so many at home, you don't need it. And that was so interesting because the little boy didn't want it anymore. He was happy with the explanation that the father had given him, and it makes perfect sense. So buying with compassion means buying products that do not involve violence to animals and the environment. It can be products that we use for personal care, products that we use for cleaning or anything else. And it is recommended that we always read the labels, the ingredients, to see also whether these products that we want to get contain animal ingredients and whether they have been tested on animals. So another thing that becomes a real temptation, particularly to young people, is technology, because it changes so quickly, it updates so quickly that very often we want to have the next mobile phone or the next television or the next everything else, tablet, computer, or anything like that. And sometimes we don't need to have another one because the one we have is working perfectly. But the advertisements have a great influence on us. And so we see something and they even say to you, own it now, buy it now, make it yours now. And then that goes in, unless we have the discrimination power to know, I don't need it, and leave it. And that really helps the environment as well. So the next value is using economically. And something again very practical. It means to use nature resources with respect. So whether it is electricity or gas or water, all the resources of the land, to use them with respect and to use them, to use as much as we need, but not more than what we need. So that means being economically. It also means not wasting, particularly food. A lot of food is thrown away. I think it is 2/3 of the food that is produced in the world is thrown away. And this is a very big issue, very important as well. And I know people, at least 3 different people, who don't look in the fridge or don't look at home before they go to do shopping. And so they shop what they already have. They shop more of what they have. And so a lot of that food, the old food, is wasted. And instead of using up everything that is there, that they have. I remember I was in Spain a couple of months ago, and I was doing a workshop about these principles. And then we said, so what are you taking with you from these principles? What are you going to do? And this girl said, I'm going to make a list before I go shopping. So I thought that was a good thing to do. So that is a contribution. So again, if we don't need the heating on, turn it off. If we don't need the lights on, turn them off. If we don't the computer, the television on, turn them off, and so on. And that makes a big contribution, a big saving. And now, particularly now that electricity and all energy is so expensive, it's gone up about 3 times in the last 2 years or so. So we need to buy everything that's necessary without wasting, without throwing away. So that is the essence of buying economically. Because Mother Earth has sustained us throughout time. It gives us shelter, food, clothing, everything that we have, everything we need for our life, we take from the land, from Mother Earth. And so now it's time really to give something back, because the resources, we've taken too much, and the resources of the earth are limited and they're running out. It's good to be aware of that, not to scare anybody, but just to be aware of our behavior. The next principle is learning continuously. So the awareness of learning means maintaining a positive attitude and learn from other people, from organizations, from situations, learn from everything that happens in our lives, even if it may seem that it is not good. Because if we have this kind of faith, understanding that everything happens for something good, there is always a lesson to learn from everything that happens. So yes, that's to do with learning continuously. And learning changes our understanding of life and helps us change our behavior and attitude. So we benefit ourselves and others and the land also from learning continuously. And the last of the values before we stop for questions is sharing generously. And so this is a very deep subject because we can share in many ways. For example, we can share information about ecological products, we can share food, we can share recipes, we can share where to buy vegan products or vegetable products, fresh produce. There is so many things that we can share, and many of the sharing we do already. We do naturally, automatically. We share a meal together. We share we share good words together for others. But we can also share our talents, our time, our knowledge. We can share vibrations, which is what we do at Brahma Kumaris. And as a non-profit organization, we share spiritual knowledge, most of all. And in meditation, we share vibrations with the land and with everyone, with all life. So it's taken me quite a few years to learn how to live a very sort of simple lifestyle where I'm observing these principles. And it's not something that happens overnight. It takes a little bit of time. So we need to be patient because it is a process. We need to change our understanding, and then we can change our attitude towards everyone else, towards the land and how we use the resources of the land. So from the things that you've heard, is there anything that you would like to pledge? Something that you would like to do or adopt a practice or anything like that? Or do you have any questions? Would you like to write down something that you would like to do? We can give you a piece of paper. Or do you have any questions? Yes?
Hi, sister. As you said, now it is in this day and age. I have seen a lot of people, including me as well. When there's a season of Christmas, companies tend to do a lot of sale is going on. So one of my friend, he has a habit of buying stuff And sometimes I also got into the same rut that, we buy something and we buy on a really cheap price, and we get sense of achievement that we achieved something. And even I've been to that area and I try to take myself out, but I have seen personally like a lot of people still do that, that buying stuff which they don't need, but they are on a really good price. And once they buy it, they brag about it, that we bought it for such a good price, and what a commendable job we did. So it gives them a sense of achievement. Same amount of time, they are chasing the feeling, which is actually taking them in a wrong path, and which is, I think, so really common nowadays, that we are going somewhere, like especially TK Maxx and sort of stores, which sell stuff on a cheaper price. Though we don't need that stuff, but that feeling sometimes give us, happiness. To how to avoid that, we cannot be conscious all the time that, we don't need that, we don't need this. Sometimes our brain or our heart says we may need it. We generated like, kind of a requirement for it. Like I have a bad habit of buying a lot of shoes because I love them. So I don't need that, but I do that. So I try to stop it, but it's more of like habit which is there, and that achievement, sense of achievement, that feeling is the one I think so people crave for. Even same happened to me. How to avoid that?
Yeah, I think what we need is the understanding that satisfaction and happiness comes from within, from who we are. And this is why it's so important to have that recognition of who we really are. And so we're not what we have. And the external things, the physical things, gives us a sense of satisfaction or happiness. But it's so immediately, but it's so temporary. It just, you buy something new, you feel happy today or this moment, and next moment you want something else, and you want to go back and you want to buy something more. And so here we teach what we have in ourselves, the qualities of soul, the peace, the satisfaction that we get from the experience of peace, and the happiness that gives us happiness, the purity of the soul, our original qualities, is that we learn and we develop, and we practice that all the time. And in practicing that, we value ourselves. We don't value what is out there so much, what we can draw happiness, temporary happiness from, but we focus on what we have internally in ourselves of who we really are, and on the beautiful soul that we are, and the beautiful qualities that we are. And so that becomes our satisfaction and our happiness and our fulfillment. So I think that probably answers your question. I know what you're saying, because I used to be a big shopper, and I think that's an addiction that most people have. So I really understand what you're saying, and I also love TK Maxx. It's a habitual behavior. It's a habit. So it is an addiction. So people who are addicted to anything, like I'm addicted to coffee. Every morning I have my coffee. So every morning I automatically almost go, I'm not thinking, coffee is not good for me because whatever. And I just have it. I am working on it at the moment, but there are many different addictions. We all have them. And shopping is one of them. Just as smoking or drinking alcohol and so on and so forth. Another question. 2 more questions.
So mine's not a question. So I think to answer your question about what pledge or practice to adopt. So I wrote
about, sorry?
You said a pledge or
sorry, put the microphone.
Oh, sorry. You said a practice to adopt. So I've written down for the 5 things, so living with simplicity, I wrote down thoughts. And for that, I would try to do my hourly check-ins to start off with. And buying compassionately. That's something that I've been doing this month. May. I'll buy the stuff that I really like because I'm a big fan of retail therapy. So if I have to detox or relax, I'll go to do shopping and I hold on to the receipt.
Very
and
common.
then I will check in with myself after 2 weeks. And pretty much I've returned everything that I bought apart from like one item, and that probably has been on sale. So I do it in terms of like money conscious and using economically. There's always food cooked at home. My mum always cooks food, but sometimes I like to indulge outside just to taste variety of food. So I think I've written down is always pack what you have at home, so I don't end up indulging outside, because then I'm just eating cooked fresh food at home and not wasting food at home.
Healthier
either.
as well.
Yeah, and it's healthier.
And with pure vibrations, because you don't know what's gone into that food outside.
Yeah, mum's food's always better. And learning continuously. So I have a list of books that I've actually got, especially from here as well. I don't read in order, so I pick random pages, pick random books. But I think I'm going to be a little bit more disciplined and allocate like at least 20 minutes of reading a day for my learning. And then number 5 was sharing generously. So I've been saying I wanted to blog for a long time, and I do take a lot of notes, and I have written some things, but I'm just a little bit like shy to like post it. So I think maybe, in a few months I might be comfortable in doing that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. About the habits you just saying. So do these habits come from a very, grown-up age, like a 5-7-year-olds? If we don't spend much time in nature, therefore we look for other avenues of satisfaction. And those people who spend a lot of time in nature, they get all the satisfactions from that. Perhaps the vibrations have something to do with it. And when they come out into the actual world, they don't really need all these products apart from what they actually need for their essential life, really. So in today's world, are people spending a lot of time in nature, especially the younger generation or the much younger ones?
Yes, people are beginning to appreciate nature a lot more. I just came back this morning, in fact, from France. I was in a beautiful area where there's so much nature all the way, fields and green, and it really helps a lot to get in contact with our own nature of peace and silence and love and care and appreciation. So the habits, they depend a lot on how we grow up and our upbringing. So, but this is something we also can learn, the habit of thinking about spirituality, thinking about who we are, thinking about and valuing ourselves. So in the Raj Yoga introductory course, we go through all of that in detail, how we develop these habits that we call sanskaras, which create our personality traits by repetition. So very often we are rewarded with a chocolate or something, and we're told you're a good girl, a good boy, and if you do this, I'll give you that. So, but we need to think for ourselves what is really what benefits us. What are the beliefs that serves us really, and let go of the other ones. So we can change those habits. We can change that nature that doesn't support us. Any more questions? Yes, last one, because now we are going to show a meditation to finish with, and it's a beautiful video of nature, and it's a meditation. So then we can look at ourselves and experience peace and look at while we see nature as well.
Yeah, it's. I was cringing while you were talking because it. Oh God! I mean, I went into a charity shop today because, well, not only am I addicted to charity shops or any shops, but I had a £5 voucher, so I went in because I was owed £5 to look at stuff, and of course I spent £65. Oof. I bought another dress and another top. I mean, I'm going to have to move home to fit all my clothes in. It's like, it is a real kind of addiction, and they are lovely.
It is.
But completely and utterly unnecessary.
Yeah.
And what I find is it's like there's this real dichotomy in me because I'm very generous as well, so I can go and walk in nature and do this and do that and be very giving and blah, blah, blah. And then the other half is this, one of the sisters said very lovingly to me once in this room when I first came to Brahma Kumaris, she said to me, "You're greedy." And it really, it's true, you know, food, this, that and the other, there's a greed, a need for more. And I really struggle to overcome that bit, even though I do have the other bit of, as I say, walking in nature and giving very generously and volunteering with lots of things and people who've got much less than me, giving things away. But it's almost like I can give something away and then I'll go buy something to almost replace it. And yeah, I just
we
really struggle with that.
We all need to change our habits, that's for sure. We all need to change those habits that are harmful to us, to the environment, to the planet. They don't help us. They don't serve.
No.
They don't serve us, and particularly what we don't need. And shopping, as we all agree, is a big, big, big bad habit that we all need to change.
Do you kind of, you know, on a pragmatic point of it, is it like something about, for example, let's say charity shop, you see it, you register no in your mind or something, because I find I've gone in and I've purchased something almost unconsciously. Is there something that we put in our minds where where it's almost anathema to us, you know, or we're allergic to it?
Okay, I go in thinking with a specific thought, what do I need to get? I need to get a top that is grey that will go with that, and so on and so forth. And I need a blouse that I will wear with whatever, and that will be useful for whatever occasions. So I go with that aim. I go to find something specific, and if I see something else, it doesn't matter if it's lovely, and I'll say to myself, no, I don't need it. I've got something similar. I've got enough. I'm not going to get it.
But what about, how do you stop yourself going in the first place? You don't need anything. But how do you stop yourself going in the first place?
Okay, so we'll talk. We can talk further afterwards. We can talk more about that. I think now we need to wind up, and you know, we'll play the video now. So thank you so much for the questions. That was really interesting. We'll play the video, and if we need to stop it before the end because of time, then that's fine. Thank you.
Sitting in silence, I open up to the world around me. First, I can feel the closest to me, the air on my skin, the earth under my feet, the light surrounding me. And I feel so grateful for all these, for the generosity of Mother Nature, the provider of life, an unlimited provider of all the amazing beauty and matter for the whole world, all species, and each individual. In that space of silence, I visualize the amazing fabric of interactions that allow life to flourish. The water, the earth, the amazing light of fire, sun, everything combined provides support for life. Each single atom of nature is precious. Flowers and grass, insects, birds, animals, humans, rivers, oceans, mountains, everything, every single entity provides its own fragrance, its own energy, and everything combined allows life as we can see it around us. In this space of silence, I now reconnect to my inner world of thoughts and feelings, my inner world of powers and virtues and memories and past and hopes. In silence, I reconnect to my heart. Not so much the wonderful pumping machine that allows blood to circulate like an incredible river inside the amazing island of my body, but the heart of the soul. This amazing capacity to love, to feel love, experience love, and express, experiment love. Just like compost nourishes the earth, who nourish the plants, who nourish the animals. Love is like an amazing soil that nourishes the soul, the mind, the hopes, the conscience, the awareness, and beyond me, the conscious being. I can sense the presence of an unlimited source of love, an ocean sun-like of powerful conditional love. And as a conscious being, I can channel this amazing light and power into my awareness and spread it around to each single atom, species, to the variety of plants, insects, to the soil, to the waters, the clouds, to birds, the flying in the skies, the rain showering my hair, the light warming up my face, the beauty surrounding each instant of life. Each one of us is like an instrument, spreading its melody around. A flower spreading its fragrance. A candle spreading its light. A cloud spreading its drops. The more I am aware of the combination of my inner world, I am free to spread the energy that is unlimitedly useful, beautiful, and beneficial.
Om Shanti. I am a peaceful soul. Thank you for coming and have a good evening. Well, she wasn't here, so. Oh.
So thank you very much, Maria. And I'm sure we're all very wise about the environment now and what we need to do, right? So less shopping and more meditating and serving nature, right? And really just to connect with yourself deeply and becoming simple. So that's what I quote today. So thank you, Maria. And few announcements. There's quite a bit today. The first, of course, Mondays and Thursdays, 7 to 7:30 p.m. Should you wish to meditate, then in-house, you're most welcome. And Sundays, 10 to 10:45, we have online meditations. So you're most welcome to go online. But for next week, on the Tuesday, we have a beautiful topic, gratitude circle, right? So I think you're looking forward to that one. We all need a bit of gratitude, even polishing it up more at a talk would be wiser. And so bring along those who you feel would benefit, yes. And a fast track Raja meditation course. The Raja Yoga meditation course is going to start next on the 17th of June. It is online, so you do need to register. And if you are able to invite more friends and family members to connect and do the fast track meditation course, 7 days, that would be very meaningful because it's always connected to nature. You're serving nature by connecting souls to learn how to meditate, but also learning the deeper philosophical reasons behind connecting to the soul and the divine. So always to refresh and connect. Good news for all of you that the Brahma Kumaris Inner Space Wembley is now on Instagram. And so you're able to connect at Inner Space Wembley. You just have to type that and you'll connect. And there's a special project that's been happening for the past year at the Inner Space Wembley for primary school children. And so the project's finale event, been running for the whole year, will be in the Global Cooperation House next week on the 12th of June. And it's a Wednesday. And for further details, it's a Peace Festival event. So further details, please connect at reception or email us. Right? And the product for the week. Finally, the product of the week is a beautiful book, Healing the 5 Elements. It's really beautiful. So if you want to dip into it, you want to buy it, you're most welcome. It'll inspire you to stay connected to nature. Be beautiful on your desk or even in your lounge. Just keep it there and see how you feel each time when you're going in and staying connected. Okay, and thank you for this evening coming physically, but also for those online and spending time listening to wisdom. Good night and Om Shanti. Travel well.